Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans.
Hi.
I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Carolyn.
And on Instagram and Ravelry, you can find me as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and I'm often posting on Instagram as Knitting in Our Jeans.
But if you see cpredmor liking your photos, that's
me
her.
too.
But that's logged in on the computer downstairs.
I have a small problem, not short, small problem, and that I don't know how to switch profiles. Or when I do, I don't do it well. I end up creating another Instagram account.
She deletes the account by accident.
I do all kinds of things. Not what I want to do, but what it does by itself. So, yes, when I'm working in my husband's office, I do get logged on as cpredmor on Instagram, and that is me also. But on my phone, posting pictures, I don't think I've ever posted anything since we basically made the rule of stay with one profile on your phone. So I'm posting things from my phone, and so I'm posting from Knitting in Our Jeans. Yes. And for those of you who've been having conversations online with us, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. We've met a few people in this past year who have been listening to the podcast, and that's so exciting. Because usually it's just Sunday and it's us, and we're sitting here going, it's fun for us, and it's nice for us. We get together. We have a reason for getting together other than just kind of hanging out and doing laundry. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's nice that a few other people like to join the conversation. So please feel free and make comments down below. I don't check them every day, but I do try to check them at least once a week. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
We are both drinking Earl Grey tea today.
Because she made it.
I did. I wanted tea. Because I have a weird, frog in my throat kind of feeling that I've had for a few days, which is weird.
Don't look at me. I've had some kind of stomach virus that I think your father brought into the house. Oh.
Yay, Dad. Well done, Dad.
So I'm eating lightly, which is probably a good thing anyway. You know.
So I wanted tea. And so I asked Mom if she wanted some, and she was like, yes, I would. And I made exactly enough water without knowing it. It was very exciting.
Did you fill it up?
No, I went to, I think, just under 1.5 liters.
I've started filling the thing up.
You fill it to the 1.7 line.
Yes.
You fill it to the max line.
To the max of the window line.
Right. Okay, good. Right, because that's all I need to hear next time I come over is, your mother keeps overflowing the hot pot.
Yes. Remind me, what I have to do is I have to go fix the other two classes. I fixed one class this morning, but I haven't fixed the other two in terms of their schedule.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to do that.
Okay.
Okay, that wasn't knitting.
That was not knitting. That was Mom's other life as a professor.
That was called, stream of consciousness.
Yes.
It's Sunday, and we didn't get to church today because my knee and my tummy were acting up. My knee, update on the knee seems to be feeling better, and paying attention to something the doctor had said last August, and yes, it's been going on that long because I don't treat it well.
She doesn't stop.
I have a job. I have to, walk through the class, through the corridors to the classes, stuff like that. And I don't want to give up the sailing until the knee gets better. All better. That would be really boring. So yes, it's all on me. It's not anybody else's fault. It's me. But what he said was ride your bicycle. So I'm on a kick now of riding my bicycle every day. Not indoors. My indoor bicycle. My exercycle. And I hope to get up to an hour a day. In preparation for this summer, when I'm hoping to put in a request for a collapsible bicycle, because I can see that walking through the towns where we go sailing is not optimal for me, but bicycling would be better.
But you'd need two.
Well, he can run along beside me. He doesn't want to get one.
He doesn't want one. I know. He's going to be very grumpy about this whole situation.
He will. Yes. My tech assistant here is going to start looking up reviews on collapsible bicycles.
All I can picture is my father going, "Why did you enable this? Why did you help her?"
He has agreed I can get a kayak.
On the current boat?
Well, we actually rented one for spring break.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And, the 6 say that the blow-up kayaks that they have seen are not good. They're too light, apparently.
Unlike my paddleboard, which is great.
Right. So we may have to keep an eye on what people review for collapsible kayaks. And maybe the ones that unfold and fold would be better because they keep the shape. And so anyway, because I want something to do when we get to the mooring field. Because what we do now is we sail to get to the destination. And in many places, you want to get to your destination early so that there's a mooring ball that you can pick up rather than trying to set an anchor. And this is particularly important when you're going to someplace new that you really don't know what the undersea conditions are. And there are some places that are just very deep. Norman Island, so Pirate's Bight, B-I-G-H-T, at Norman Island, is very deep. There are places that are 70 feet deep. And you may only have 200 feet of chain. And you really want to have a 4-to-1 scope. So you just don't have enough anchor lines. So you really want to get there in time to pick up a mooring ball. So you get there by noon. And then you go, now what?
And if you're not visiting somewhere where your daughter is, it's definitely, well, what do we do now?
That's right. So I have been campaigning for a kayak. And this time when we're chartering our boat at spring break, I got a kayak. In fact, I got a 2-man kayak because he decided he didn't want to get left behind. So I'm hoping that the bicycling will help.
I'm so excited to hear all about this.
The bicycling should help strengthen the muscles around my knees. So hopefully even walking by spring break will be easier. But I'm walking around the house today for the first time since Christmas. Or the first time since we got back from vacation in January without my knee brace. So what I've been doing is I've been getting my knee better, injuring it, having to wear the knee brace, physical therapy, no knee brace, injuring it again.
So we're going to see what happens in 3 weeks.
That's right. We should be better.
You should be.
The equipment we have chartered should make it easier. So that's what we're testing. Yeah. So things are moving along. Sorry if this is not interesting to our lives. What can I tell you? Let's see. What are you working acidiously on? And then I'll talk about what I'm doing.
My row.
I want to tell you.
Okay.
I made this bag. And years ago. I was still single when I made this bag. And it was on a very fancy-dancy machine. I guess my mother, your grandmother's fancy-dancy sewing machine. Maybe I wasn't single. You just weren't around. And it is a bag.
There were a few years without me, I know.
I know. And it goes like this, and it has Velcro, and it's a very big deal in that then it unzips, and you can put stuff in here, and yet you can make it small. And I've been using it for my sweater yarn. And I'm sure that most of you have even a modicum of intelligence can say, Carolyn, of course we can see why this would be a problem.
It has Velcro.
It has Velcro. And so every time I've been taking yarn in and out of this bag, it's been getting into an intimate relationship with this bag. So this bag, as much as I like it...
Well, maybe, why don't we just take the Velcro off instead of trashing the whole bag? We can take the Velcro off.
Well, we can because I sewed it on.
Exactly. You can take the Velcro off and just put like 3 snaps across. And then all else fails, if you want to keep knitting out of it while holding it over your shoulder or something, you only snap the 2 outside ones and you feed it up through there.
All right, we're going to have to find snaps then.
Okay.
Glad we fixed that problem. So, anyway.
She's all ready to go to hell with the bag.
Throw that
Gone!
And your father would have applauded. Because he's trying to get things out of the house.
I noticed he tried to throw... So, sometimes when I come over, I leave with more stuff than I arrived with. Due to my father's penchant for wanting to get stuff out of the house.
He's very good at cleaning up other people's stuff.
So,
I'm sure you don't know anybody like that.
So, right after New Year's or so, I brought a backpack that I don't...
there's a fan in there.
Yes, yes, there is. It's been there for quite a while.
All right, but you also have to think about how you're going to deal with the closet. Your father's actually said he wants to start looking at apartments.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yes.
so
Back to knitting.
I decided at around New Year's to leave a backpack here. This morning, my father finally saw said backpack and was like, "Do you want to keep this? Are you keeping this here?" I was like, "Yes. Yes, I'm keeping this here. Leave it alone."
I thought you were going to talk about the mirrors.
Oh, the mirrors
That was last week. The mirrors have been behind the bed in the extra bedroom.
Which is fine. But also, I don't know where I'm going to be in a year. And I don't know where I'm going to be when you guys decide to move. No. And mirrors are hard to find. Good mirrors are hard to find.
Yes, that's true. Absolutely true.
So, I walk in the door. They're about to walk out. I realize I have to turn back around and go back to Queens for something last week. And he's like, "Oh, well, we're just going to get rid of them." And I was like, "Sir, no! You were very good at this when it's not your own stuff." And then
I had said, "I'd like to keep the metal one." He goes, "Are you sure about that?" I said, "Yes, I'd like to keep it." "Are you really sure about it?" "Okay, go ahead, throw it out." It's like he had a thing about it, so I'm glad you added your voice.
Yeah. I also note how the wooden one is still downstairs. It has not been removed from the house.
Well, no. Do you notice the coats that I had out for the coat giveaway are still downstairs? So we need to find the call up the chair. Well, I need to find a bin that you throw these things in, because calling to the charity, you end up saving things up until you've got a sufficient amount for them to come pick them up. But I've got 3 coats downstairs that need to be donated. And such like. So what are you working on? Back to knitting.
I'm working on my color block sweater from Ylenea Dasher. I'm on the sleeves. I've got probably, 6 inches of sleeve?
Hold on. If you just give me a minute, I'll get my needle out here. And since it's marked off in inches, I'll be able to tell you. I really do like these needles, except for the fact they're metal. So by the end of the night, my hands hurt. But other than that, they're great needles.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 5 3/4.
Okay, so I'm at 5 3/4.
Good. How far do you have to go?
Well, my arms are 22 inches?
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're long sleeves.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So I'm going to...
That's why I asked, because you don't know whether it's going to be short,
no, it's a long
long.
sleeve. The test is a long sleeve. So I have this much left of the brown color, which is my contrast color 1.
Okay.
So I'm going to knit till the end, because I'm knitting off of both ends of it. And then I will switch to...
You had another one, a lighter one.
I have it. It's right here. I'm trying to grab it. And then I have this to switch to.
That'll be
light
nice.
Orange. Yeah. And
Which
I hope...
not the same color as the body.
No, it's more orange. It's called Autumn, whereas the body is called Rust.
Okay.
It's Autumn Rust.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
I would not have thought these were your colors.
I would not have either. I don't know. They called to me a few years ago at on the yarn crawl. Speaking of, the yarn crawl this year is April 4th through 7th, right? 3rd through 7th?
Don't it?
April. First weekend of April.
Okay.
Mark it on your calendars.
It's always fun.
Get excited.
Always fun. I love going out to all these different shops. I have a fondness in my heart for Altman's, way out. And I think it's in Shirley. They have some of the best pattern books. So they'll have Amasu, and they'll have some of the ones that I don't subscribe to, but you go and you go, well, that looks interesting. And I usually find a sweater or 2 or 3, and one that they have that I don't have access to, so I usually come home with those. And I know 1 year, at least 1 year, if not 2, they had a local dyer.
Hampton Arts yarn,
Right.
which I've bought from there 2 years in a row. Maybe 2 of the past years I have bought that there. One is for my Epicenter shawl, and one is for East or West by Joji Locatelli, which is... So, tangent note, I have reorganized. I've been reorganizing my queue over the last, like, few days / week since we last discussed the queue due to the prompt on February. And I'm, like, trying to put things in actual order of how I'm going to knit them. And that one's not actually on the list in the April, timeline. But I think I might move it up. My Easter West by Hohi, so I can wear it for the crawl.
Oh, okay.
Or at least work on it on the crawl, since I bought it last year. Okay. I feel like I should, be knitting things for the events. Speaking of another event, we are going to the Andrea Mowry and Christy Glass event on March 30th at Murmur in Brooklyn. You can, we'll put the information in the down bar. Tickets, are still available. It is run by Andi Untangled, but I think tickets are through Murmur, which is the MURR. We'll put the link down below.
Okay, because I have no idea what she's talking about. I mean, I do know about Andrea Mowry. Yeah. I don't know about Murmur.
That's the event space in Brooklyn where it's at.
I figured that out, but I've never been there.
No, we have not been there. Let me look it up. I can look it up right here. So it's MURMRR. Murmur. So get excited.
I'm excited.
Will be going to that. I'm also thinking about knitting a sweater for that, but I think we'll get to that in a little bit. What have you been working on? Your alpaca!
Yes, and it was the Gryer. We were making up names last week, and for some reason, I don't know, I found it in my basket.
By Isabell Kraemer.
The Gryer. All right.
And you're modifying it because you only have 2 colors and you have half the yardage of it?
Oh, I've got 1/3 the yardage.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't make it as wide. As they said, this would have kept going like this for quite a while. So it didn't end up as wide, and I'm modifying it like crazy because I decided that I like the spacing of the garter section and then the lace. I think what I'm going to do next, because, I only have this much left. I'm going to try to finish another inch on this garter and then do the striping and then do another row of the garter of the white and then go into the teal again. And I had always planned to begin and end with the teal. So this now... At least, how'd she die? She stuck herself in the neck with a knitting needle. It goes around my neck.
Yeah.
So any additional length I get brings it so I'm not choking myself. And my idea was to hopefully get it long enough so that it would come around.
And could drape over your shoulders.
And could just drape. So I'm thinking another 6-7 inches if I can get that much out of the yarn. And
you've got a good amount of the teal
left. And I've got
left.
this much of the teal left. So the other thing I can do is once I get to the teal, I can start doing one of those ends.
Maybe.
So I could do some, and then maybe when I have this much left, start going small on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that would give me some additional length. But it is incredibly soft. It will be delightful to have around my neck. And I'm thinking, obviously I'm wearing all black now, so this with, black will be nice. And I'll have to try some of the other things that I wear. So anyway, yes, so this has been rather exciting. The Gryer, you would have at least 2 colors, sometimes 3, and you'd have 2...
Wasn't it 400 yards?
200% more yarn, so that you would have the garter, and then you go into this, and the lace would be twice as big, so it would be this big. Then you go into your stripes, and then so the sections are bigger. And as I said, I'm doing this almost like a color block on purpose because I want to make sure that I use up all of the cream. Well, at least hopefully do some striping on this end. and then move on to the teal. So I may actually have to use up the cream and then take it out so that I know what I can be doing. But that's what I've been working on this week. I did do some work on my sweater. What is this? This is the sweater. There's another Gryer. You know, do I have enough of these?
I don't know.
Probably not. This sweater,
Fond memories.
Fond Memories, has it has a top section of lace, it has a middle section of lace, and then it goes into the body. Where I am at now, it looks like I am just about ready to finish the middle section of lace for the back. For the back? For the front. We'll see. So this should be 6 inches in length, and you can see it's almost 6 inches in length. And certainly once it's blocked, you can see the lace in it. It'll be really pretty. So I'm almost finished with that. Then what the pattern actually says to do, which is what I would have done anyway, is to put this on a holder and go and do the back lace. And so, I mean, the pattern shows it all one color, so I'm not quite sure why they want you to do that, but it's fine with me because I'm trying to use up this.
Well, because you're probably doing the body, so you're probably knitting the front down to where you would then seam the underarm, and then knitting the back to that same point, doing a 3-needle bind off or something like it for the underarms, and then knitting the body in the round.
I don't know. We'll see. But I do want to use this up. So we'll have to see how the yolks go in terms of how much yarn is used.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the pattern yet, so we can figure it out.
Sometimes I don't want to read the whole pattern because you can get really depressed. You know, but it is one stitch at a time, as our friend Nathan says. Yeah. So this will be the body of the sweater. And I actually think I'm going to have to make 2 sweaters, I think.
Oh, no.
I've got plenty of yarn here. But anyway, I have been working through it. These are my repeats. And yes, I have probably thousands of stitch markers. Do you see what I'm reduced to? I'm reduced to paper clips because I'm knitting in my husband's office, or I'm knitting mostly, this comes from my husband's office. And the patients are coming in and out, and I don't have time to run upstairs and go rummaging through finding my stitch markers. So paper clips work really well as removable stitch markers. So one thing I don't like about regular stitch markers is because they're just these round things, and you can't take them off if you suddenly realize they need to be moving someplace. So I do like removable stitch markers. Anyway, I have a bag. Well, here's one.
It's right over there.
No. This is but one bag, but also, you see all those paper clips that are in there?
Yep.
Yes, I you know, that is going to go in this bag. I decided to take the place of the other bag while we're making changes in it. I'm going to use my Reduce, Reuse, Rethink Your Choices. This is a bag I got at Hannaford's.
At Rhinebeck. At Rhinebeck. For snackage.
That's right. Really good reusables here. So this is what I'm going to be putting my present knitting in when it's not downstairs and in the basket. I'm really liking my basket.
This is a basket we made in a basket weaving class at
Rhinebeck. So,
which is not. We recommend the class because the class was really good and we got really nice baskets out of it. But it's very cold because you're working with wet reed and outside.
And if any of you knit and your hands hurt just after using metal needles, let me tell you, they're really gonna hurt working with wet reeds.
Yeah. So we're not saying don't take the class, we're saying take the class with this information.
Right.
Because I was okay. My hands were a little stiff through, like, as we got towards the end. But I ended up taking some breaks and running around the the different barns, just to pick up some yarn and stuff that year, because my hands just, I needed to be up and moving. There are heat lamps, but they were not as, I mean,
they worked,
and the year we did it, I don't think it was as cold as like last year or the year.
Not as last year, but I can tell you that the pulling on, you have to really pull on this wet reed, and that's what gave my hands a pain for the following day. It didn't hurt that day, but it hurt the following day. Just like muscles you don't use all that often, my hands hurt from doing that. But I do love the basket.
It was great, and it was a great class. Really great people in it, great teacher, but it was tough. It's
physically demanding.
And just be careful if you are sensitive to cold, because we have fluctuating temperatures at Rhinebeck.
Yes.
Like 2 years ago when I wasn't there, it was
80.
80, and last year it was what, 30?
Yeah, it was really cold.
It was cold last year.
It was really cold.
So,
our coats were good.
Our coats were fantastic.
And some people were freezing to death.
Yeah.
And we have been there some years where we've seen snow standing in the Miss Babs line. And there's been other times, like 2 years ago, when you can't bear to wear any kind of wool because it's so warm. It's a changeable time of the year at Rhinebeck, as in most of New York, and it's really hard to predict. So take that into account. There are some really interesting basket weaving courses up there. But and I might take another. I'm not sure. I kind of wrestle with myself about it. There's Wendy Jensen, who apparently is an excellent basket maker, basket weaver, and a friend of mine, you know who you are, has recommended her highly. And I never. Well, first of all, I'm still teaching. I might be able to go this year, since I won't be teaching on campus. So I might be able to take that class and do a Wendy Jensen class once. That would be nice. Because the baskets that I've been interested in making, she's been teaching on a Friday, not a Thursday or a Saturday.
We also have to keep in mind that that's also India Entangled, the Friday before Rhinebeck.
Right.
And we volunteered this past year, so
yeah, and that was good. I need to get a job where I'm sitting.
We will. We can
definitely.
We can
and I can't volunteer at Rhinebeck anymore because there's no place where they have a seated. A seated volunteer thing.
No, of course.
So anyway, and we have to find out if we're going to be picked up for teaching.
Right.
And what day that would be.
Right.
Lots of things to consider, but definitely mark on your calendar the Long Island Yarn Crawl.
You can check out the website at longislandyarncrawl.com. You can check out the Instagram page, LI Yarn Crawl, I believe is what it is. And they're doing a really cool Ravelry pattern giveaway.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah. So is
that where you have to go to the different stores?
No, and it's Long Island Yarn Crawl is actually the Instagram. And I think it's if you post the photos places. Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah. So it's very cool. And get excited because it is coming up April 4th through 7th. And the participating stores are Altman's in Mattituck. Oh, it's Mattituck. Black Sheep Knitworks in East Hampton.
Oh, good, because I couldn't go there last year. I can go this year.
Yep. Knit in Roslyn.
Good.
The Knitted Pearl in Oyster Bay.
Good.
The Knitting Cove and Yarn Shop in Port Jeff.
Okay.
The Knitting Garden in Huntington. The Knitting Place in Port Washington. The Knitting Store in Oceanside.
They're fun.
Long Island Yarn and Farm in Yaphank.
Yes. You get to see the animals.
And So What's New and Yarn 2 in Iceland.
And I have gotten some really nice yarn there. Of course, I haven't made it up yet. You see what's left behind me. But I know that I've got a navy blue speckled from them to do, I think, a cardigan.
I have fabric from them.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I have fabric from them. But it's quite a good turnout in terms of shops, and it's usually quite a good turnout in terms of people. It is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you and I will have to discuss what we want to do.
Yes.
And if we want to open up a seat or two in the car. So we'll talk about that.
Last year was tough because I had to be away.
Yeah, so we ended up doing...
Thursday.
We ended up doing 5 shops on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah,
evening. We ended up doing Huntington, Port Jeff, Huntington, Oyster Bay, Knit, and Port? Did we get to Port?
I didn't get to Port.
No, so we did the 4. We did Port Jeff, Huntington, Oyster Bay, and Roslyn. And that was fun.
It was fun. And it was very nice. Cheryl stayed open.
Yeah.
I guess I bought some needles. Talking about needles, these Smart Sticks are nice. I prefer the coils that actually lie limp in my lap. And as far as I know, there's only one brand that does that. I'm not quite sure. Wouldn't it be nice if you could switch out these cords to any cord that you particularly liked, but they don't make the same connectors.
Yeah.
And these are
fixed
circulars, so that would be another problem. But in terms of knitting, they're nice and slick. Of course, they're metal, but they don't seem to be overly slick.
Mm-hmm.
So that does make it nice. But I do know by the end of the night, it's going to hurt right in there, just because I do better if I'm working with wooden. I have a mess. So it just reinforces the fact that I really should be working with wooden
needles
rather than metal. So, in fact, I may switch out after we finish podcasting, but there's no point in making my hands hurt. There's no point. But maybe I could just stick it through and therefore have one of these needles on a project so that I can just use it to measure. Because it goes through the yarn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It goes through, and that way it's unlike my measuring tapes where I have 1,600 of them, and they're all like stuck in odd places. This is coming from my learning disability, that if I don't see it, it's not existent. And so I stock up on a lot of extras so that wherever I look, whatever I need is right there. Yep. And then it gets put away, as most normal people do. Which is
never a good thing in our house.
And then I can't find it. So,
yeah.
I think one of these threaded through, I could use the needle to thread it through my project, and then I have not a yardstick, but I have a measurer right there. So, I can use it that way. But yeah, I think either carbons or the wooden is really what makes my hands happiest. So I did some work on my sweater, not as much as I might, because I have been working on this.
Oops. It's okay, just leave it.
Shawl. Why? Because it was a gift from a student, and she's in my class this semester, and I want to show her that I'm appreciative of the gift, and going to make something right now from the yarn that she gave me. And in fact, we have exams this week in school, so Wednesday and Friday, and I'll take this in to work on while I'm giving the exams. And you could say, but Carolyn, aren't you going to be paying attention as to whether you're cheating or not? Well, first of all,
remember last week how she described how she does her exams?
I have 4 versions. The questions are rotated like crazy. And the kids have made up these questions, a lot of them, all but 5 or 6 of them. So the questions and the answers have all been out there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. And if they haven't taken the time to read them in advance, believe me, they don't have the wherewithal to do that much cheating in class. And I know I've asked students as to how much cheating goes on in my classes. And yes, they could be shining on me saying, oh no, Dr. Plummer, there's no cheating that goes on in your classes. But I have them put their phones away. I've had maybe 1 or 2 people leave for a bathroom break. And you know what? Their grades never show that they've been doing massive looking up of information in the bathroom. So,
because sometimes you just can't control it. Sometimes you just have to go to the bathroom.
If you've had a jumpy tummy like I've had since Friday, it just is what it is. And it doesn't matter how much I've gone 5 minutes before. If it hits, it hits. So I'm sure it's a small virus, and it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
So you're working on this.
So I'm working
and the
on
other
this.
thing is, obviously I have all this stuff in my lap. Sorry, dear.
I I have something else
But I want to cast on like crazy.
So do I. Let's talk about that after.
All right. Can you tell we don't have a schedule?
Yeah, we don't have a plan. I love how I put it up here so that I could show you guys. So I have been working on your mitts. Let's try it on.
Oh, nice.
Much better?
Much better.
Okay.
Yes. What is it, sized up?
I think we sized up one size.
Nice.
So you think that'll be good for both hands, that size?
Well, my right hand's is the biggest hand.
Okay. It's a little hard on the needles to do this because you don't want to accidentally pop it off the needles.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I am very excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So I have been working on these. I brought these, actually, so we had an invitation at work to the Rangers game by our client because they have a box at Madison Square Garden. I know.
Oh, nice.
How she. It was quite fancy. I was
When do you go?
We went on Thursday, and so I socialized for a bit, and then I was done socializing. You know, it was with our team that we see
every day.
Well, it was only Gary and Angel from my team, and I didn't realize Angel was a Rangers fan, and like no one else was a Rangers fan there, but he had a jersey and everything, and I was like, oh, Angel.
Oh, how sweet.
Like, that's so cute. Even though the Rangers are not doing well this season.
They have their moments.
They do. So he was there. They were there, and then our client rep was there, and 3 of our architect team were there.
Very nice.
And we had extra tickets, so I actually invited a coworker. I invited Catherine.
Oh, nice.
And I invited a few other coworkers, but they couldn't come. So my one coworker who did come, her boyfriend came, who is also they're big hockey fans. They're Islander fans, though. So it was very funny.
But they didn't have tickets to the Islanders. So
no,
the Rangers were good.
Yeah. So it worked out really well. But it was very funny because I kind of petered out, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go sit. I'm gonna knit. I'm going to be happy doing this. And I was. And my friends, my coworker and friend's boyfriend, like, he was sitting all the way up front, and I was sitting, in the back. And he comes back and he goes, "You're knitting. I didn't realize you were already knitting." And I was like, "Are you you're surprised I'm knitting?" And he goes, no, I just didn't realize. I was like, okay, good. Because, yeah. But that was cute. Yeah, I've been working on those this week. I decided to throw those in my bag because
thank you.
They're a little hard to get to remember the pattern on. But now that I think this is the 3rd time technically I'm doing them, I kind of understand the way that they're supposed to look. So
okay,
I can read the knitting and where it's supposed to go from here pretty well.
Good.
Yeah, so other than that, what I've been working on this week, this dovetails with what Mom just brought up a minute ago with, I want to cast on everything. I want to cast on something new. I want to work on something new. I'm done with these sleeves.
I want to cast on like 6 things.
Oh, I'm there too. But I decided to try to forestall that feeling by swatching.
Oh yes, this is gorgeous.
Look at how beautiful my swatch is. I'm so proud of myself. So this is the swatch for my Shfty by Andrea and Mowry, which I think I'm going to try and knit by the 30th to wear.
Oh, well, you better get working on it.
Shh.
March 30th?
Yes. I've done worse. It's the 23rd, right? 24th.
24th. A whole sweater?
Yes.
Okay.
I have knit a sweater in a month.
March 30th.
Yes.
It's March 30th we're going.
Yes.
That's a week, dear.
No. It's February.
Today's February. Okay. I'm okay.
And people wonder why sometimes we're very early or very late to things. So I'm going to do a fade in my coordinating colors. So I think I'm actually going to flip this second color with this first color I used because it is...
I like it.
I think this is lighter than this, so I think they need to be flipped.
Tell, but
I think I'm going to flip them.
Okay.
In natural light, the background color looks a lot less variegated. I've noticed that. It looks, and it also in person, not on a camera screen, it looks a lot less variegated, I feel.
I love it.
So I love it, but I also think it's really, really weird. And I don't know and it's very out of my comfort zone. But I love it.
I love it.
And I think...
What's out of your comfort zone? The colors?
The colors.
Love the colors.
The background color specifically. Which is Mother of Dragons by Nerd Girl Yarns on Parlay. I do too. And I'm like... It like just feels a little weird to me. Because it's like an olive green and this peachy pink. And I think
it goes together to make a really delightful thing.
I know. I think it's going to be great. I'm very excited about this. But I'm also like... This might be the most interesting sweater I have knit that I plan on wearing to work. Actually, no, it might be my most interesting, like, sweater I've planned so far. In terms of, like, kind of getting out of my color comfort zone.
Oh, well, maybe.
But I love it.
Because I think it's perfectly fine for going to work in terms of the design.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's more the colors.
Okay.
So, but I was all ready... to, you know, I really like the hand of the sweater in the 6s. So I was all ready just to cast on the smallest size and go on with the 6s. And I was like, let's do some gauge math. My gauge on the 5s, if I did the smallest size, would still give me a 46-inch bust.
That's way too big.
That's way too big. So I think I need to go down to 4s.
Well, wait a minute. Is there a certain repeat?
What's
the repeat?
Either 2 or 4 stitches.
Why don't you just take that number of stitches out and stay on the 6? Or stay on the needle you want?
Well, I would have to do the gauge measurement for the 6, because I do like the way the blocked that looks a lot. Because this also felt really tight knitting it. Which I thought was going to block out really nice. But this actually blocked out way, like, just way nicer than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be too loose.
Right.
I don't know.
And what size needle is that?
6.
And what size is this?
5.
This will be a warmer sweater.
Okay.
The 5 will be a warmer sweater.
I think it's going to be transitional anyways. Like the in-between weather times. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll take a look and see how much. So if I didn't bring my notebook that has the gauge written down, but I think
I might just take out the number of stitches that you need to get down to maybe a 40-inch bust.
Or a 38.
Well, I was going to give yourself a little...
It's maybe a 39 then, just because it's supposed to be more fitted. All right. Well, that's what I would do. Yeah. That's the kind of math I do. Easy math. So that you can... Yeah, why not do it that way? I mean, you have your gauge. You know what size you're knitting per inch. Just take out that many inches. Yeah, so even if I do... So I think my gauge is 5 stitches to the inch. Mm-hmm. So if I do a 39 and I divide that by... Or I multiply that by 5... I get 195, which if you divide that by 4, which is our largest pattern repeat, you get 48.75. So if I do 49 times 4, you get 196, which is very close to the 195 stitches for the 39-inch bust. All right. Are there any side stitches? Like, do they just start out with the pattern, or is there 2 stitches along the side? I mean, I'm going to have to look and compare that. Mm-hmm. That's the amount of stitches I need around the bust in order to get the 39. Okay. So I just need to work up and down from that. Right. And if I didn't mention before, this is for the Shfty by Andrea Mowry. Right. Which is due in 5 weeks, not a week. Yeah. I don't know. Today feels like March to me. No. We're still in February. We haven't hit Ash Wednesday yet. Right. Right. We haven't hit spring break. Yeah. Sorry, I was hearing March and thinking February. I know. My event didn't go off. February doesn't have 30 days. So.
Right. Whatever. My event got canceled on Wednesday.
Because of the snow.
So I haven't been doing as much knitting, etc. because I've been trying to get this event together. I'm pulling together a panel on sustainability and sustainability practices across the majors. And I had a speaker from the UN. I had a speaker from PepsiCo. I had a speaker from...
Did it just get canceled or did it get postponed?
Well, school canceled.
Okay.
And I said, we are not going on if school is canceling because I figure they know something about the weather that I don't. And I think the reason they canceled was due to possible icing as it got later. And I'm not keeping people on campus. I'm not having speakers come on campus, and I'm not keeping people on campus if the weather is so bad that school is closing. And they canceled the classes in the evening. So I have been able to find a new room and a new date, and we are now confirming speakers. And if I don't get the written confirmations in my email shortly, on Tuesday I'm making phone calls.
Good.
My on-campus speaker from the Center for Ethics and Leadership is fine. I'm chasing down my other 3 speakers to make sure that we're good. A couple of my team members won't be able to be there, and we may have a problem with our interdenominational blessing because 2 of the 3 religious leaders that we had coming to give us a cross pan-religion blessing have to be someplace else because, you know, we're having to stick ourselves back in where we had this date since December. I was telling people, you know, I could have told you in December there was going to be a weather event on that day because we picked that day. The day on either side of it was fine. That day was when it was snowing and icing.
Of course.
And now it won't be till the end of March. But I'm glad it'll be over by the time we have the Long Island Yarn Crawl, so I don't have to worry about that. Anything else that you're looking at?
Oh, so
what else do you want to cast on?
I want to cast on the Sturgill by Andrea, but not Andrea Mowry, by Ciatlin Hunter, Boiling It Works, the one that was released at Vogue. That I have the yarn from Magpie, Neighborhood Fiber Co., Ritual Dyes, and Lady Dye Yarns for.
Did you pick it up there?
Yes, I did. So I showed you all that in the haul.
Yes.
And I really want to cast that on. I want to cast on my Alyeska, which is also a Ciatlin Hunter. I also want to cast on that Joji Locatelli, the East or West. Honestly, I want to knit something new.
I want to knit 6 different things new. I actually want to be working on all these works in progress that are at our feet so I can get my desk cleared up.
Yeah.
And then there are so many things that I'm dying to cast on, but I'm trying to be really good at this because I have gotten to the point I cannot keep 2 patterns straight at one time. That's the other thing. As I was trying to do things with this Gryer and trying to do things with the sweater that's down there, I was getting the directions mixed up. It's really easy for me to do. So I really do have to work on just one thing at a time, get it done, move on. And we have to work on your coat, and I do want to cut out that dress. Which maybe we can do next weekend. Yeah, next weekend it'll have to be, because I had a migraine yesterday, and today is a bit truncated. So I don't think I'm going to get... I got the collar cut, but I was not feeling well enough to try and do the pattern matching for the plaid of the exterior. So maybe next week. Yeah, I'm just dying to cast. I just want all the new things. And yet I know we're coming into warmer weather that's like staring me in the face. So the other thing I want to do is I really want to work on that cotton linen that I got, was it last year during the yarn crawl? At the store, the Knitted Pearl in Oyster Bay, because I could wear that for spring break down in Tortola. Yeah. So that would be nice. So maybe I'll be working, when I get finished with this scarf, shawlette, maybe I'll pull that out and work on that and the sweater, that and the sweater, that and the sweater, and do it that way. And then maybe just leave, because as you said, we're coming to the end of February, and March, the Harry Potter will have a new set of classes, and maybe I can use some of this other yarn over here for something that I make for a class. Hard to say. There's so little of it that really, 4 of those together make 100 yards. It's not, it's not
maybe
like
5.
I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. What do you think? Maybe socks or something?
You could do a shawl, one of the Advent shawls. You could do any of the shawls that use minis. There's a whole bunch by Ambah O'Brien.
I'll have to look at those.
Yeah.
But really, other than that, yes, I'm trying to get rid of the bags under my desk, so that what I have is up there. And no, I haven't posted in Ravelry or up there any of the yarns I got at Rhinebeck and or Vogue Knitting Live, because my knee's been too dicey to be on a stool?
Stepladder?
Stepladder, that's it, stepladder, to be placing things up there. So now that it's getting better, maybe next week I'll start taking pictures and placing yarn back up there.
I also, in things I want to knit the new Ciatlin Hunter, the Koivua, I don't know, Koivua. It's a...
Koivua?
Yeah, it's a Finnish or Danish word. I can't remember. I can look it up. But it's so pretty. So pretty. And I think using my Briar Rose that we frogged 2 weeks ago as the coordinating color would be just...
Oh, that's really
gorgeous. I think I might make... I have a list of sweaters that need main colors, so I think maybe for the yarn crawl that might be what I'm looking for, is main colors for sweaters. That's my thought.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds very good.
But yeah, just want to knit everything.
Desperately.
I need more arms to knit the things I want to knit, but less arms to knit the sleeves for.
Got it. You want number more, but shorter.
I want number more, but only when knitting sweaters. But only when needing to knit said sweaters, not when wearing said sweaters.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah. They need to be retractable.
Retractable arms?
Retractable arms.
Let's look at this. This is a sweater that I've had forever. My Isabell.
The Isabell, yeah.
My Isabell. I think I'm going to take it out.
And recast it on?
And recast it on.
Good plan.
And it does then liberate...
a set of Chow Goose.
A set of Chow Goose. Fixed circulars. So... yes, there's so many needles. You get out my needle cases that are missing needles. And I haven't lost them. What I've done is they're in these whips. So in that bag, I think, are 2 or 3 whips.
Probably. It's a pretty decent bag.
So, yes, that's a bag you got me. I know.
And I have a matching one, which actually is downstairs. I also have the Niobe I want to knit from the yarn I got at Fiberspace. I have so many things that I want to knit. I'm looking at yarn at my feet that I got this year that I want to do. I have to say, though, that the Lady Yak I love. The one that I finished for Vogue Knitting Live I love, and I like the fact that I made it longer. I am starting to really like my sweaters longer so that I can wear these stretch pants and have them as a tunic. So that's very comfortable. It's not that I think that someone my age shouldn't be wearing stretch pants. I think someone my size should not necessarily be wearing stretch pants. And I'm really talking about me. But they're really comfortable. And so that's another encouragement for losing weight. The other thing was, one of the women whose blog I follow, she is a sailor and she lives on a boat, and she was just diagnosed with
diabetes 2. And, how she had to change her diet. I'm thinking, well, why don't I just change my diet now and get this under control rather than waiting for a health crisis to come? So that's also in the back of my mind. And so, therefore, this week has been really good. I haven't actually been on the scale this week, so I don't know how successful I've been. And, people...
But if you're feeling better, that's really what matters.
No, it's my knee feels better, and losing weight would make my knee feel better, but I need to get a lot less of me so that the other knee doesn't go.
Okay.
This is not just, I think this is a good idea. This is save the other knee. So, and put less stress on this knee. And so anyway.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll be okay. And the other part is that diabetes runs in my family. So, in a couple of my grandparents have had diabetes. None of my brothers have diabetes. None of that group have it, but on my father's side, one of my cousins, who's very fit, developed diabetes stage 2, step 2. What is it called?
Type 2.
Type 2, thank you. So even with good diet control, it's possible that your body is not going to be as supportive of you as it might be. But those are different things that I'm carrying around in my head as to why I should be a little bit more vigilant about what goes in my mouth rather than just eating what feels good at the particular moment. And I understand how dieting is so hard because you're hungry at that moment versus the results, which are long-term. And that's what's hard. It's long-term versus short-term. And sometimes you're just hungry.
Sometimes
you're just that hungry. So other than that, do you know anything else we want to talk about? The Oscars are tonight.
The Oscars are tonight.
And you're going out.
I am. I was invited out to a Oscar party. I think I'm going to take the subway there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take a
Uber
car
home?
service home. Yes.
That's a good plan.
Because I don't know how the parking situation is over there, or else I would drive.
Good point.
So, and the subway, it's an hour and a half or so on the subway, which is good knitting time. But
Not
I don't
late at night.
really want to do that by myself at, 11:30.
No.
So that's the plan, I think.
I'm staying here.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm just happy because I've been fighting migraines recently.
You said all week.
Yeah. I've been fighting them a lot recently.
I had a nasty one yesterday.
I'm pretty glad that I am going to be able to go out and see my friends.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Good. Yes.
This is going in my reviews bag.
Yes. But yeah, other than that, I think that would be the end of our podcasting.
Our chatting? Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much else. I have not been working on my other stuff that I've been talking about. I'm just
trying to keep body and soul together, making sure that everything it has a due date actually gets done. And I think I've covered my classes. I'll fix a couple things downstairs and then get back to knitting.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get this test knit done first because that's got an actual deadline. Yes, beginning of March. But I'm on the sleeves.
Which is in a week.
It's beginning of March. By that I mean like second or third week of March.
Okay.
So, but I'm on the sleeves, and once I'm out of the seed stitch area, I think I should be okay. Because the pattern changes at the top of your elbow. So from your shoulder to your elbow, it's one texture pattern, and then from your elbow down, it's another texture pattern.
Okay.
So I think I will be moving faster once I hit the second texture pattern. But we will see.
Okay.
Because these are just... Sleeve Island is a real place, and I am there. And I don't like being here. I don't like it.
Just because you want to get it done.
Yes. And because my sleeves take forever.
Well, yeah. I know.
Dang genetics. Darn you, Father!
I was on the exercycle, and my husband apparently had used the exercycle before me, and he must have like 9 of the little holes showing, and I couldn't even come close to reaching.
That seems perfectly reasonable.
And so I was downstairs trying to readjust it. I was most comfortable with 2 little holes showing. So, yes, they have arms and legs like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm. No torso. No torso to speak of, but, you know.
Arms and legs.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was thinking, because the new sweater by Caitlin Hunter, the body, I think, is 9 inches long, which is very cropped on me, even though I have a short torso. I measured both my chuck that I'm wearing today and my epaulette sweater, and my epaulette sweater, I think, is 12 inches from the underarm, which is very comfortable for work and for wearing around the house.
See, my Lady Yak is 17 or 18.
And the sweater that's in my lap is 15. So, for more cropped, and so this sweater is 10 inches, this sweater is 12 inches. I think I might add about 2 inches to the new sweater by Caitlin Hunter. Even if it's just more ribbing at the bottom of it, because I think that will make it more wearable for me. Because if you look at the schematic, see the G measurement?
Oh, it is short. Well, let me look at the picture again.
So
I don't know. I think you have to be able to try it on as
you
go.
But I think if I just add it to the bottom, because it says...
It looks rather boxy.
It says 9.5 inches.
It's a boxy sweater.
Yeah, but I also think I might need at least another ½ inch.
What I'm saying is a boxy sweater, you can add it to the bottom
and
it'll be fine.
Yes. So that was just something also to take note on for my Shfty, which also is, I believe, a little cropped. I would like to close this, please. Let me open this. Let me see if I can find where the...
What are you going into, your queue?
No, I have these on Drive. So the Shfty is 10 inches, but I'm intending on adding an extra color anyways. So that might end up being 12 inches anyways, which...
Okay.
You know.
I got so involved in talking here, I knitted 2 extra rows. So I have to take out.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. There are worse things in life.
There really are. So, I think that'll be good. I think I'm just going to have to do some math with the Shfty. I just did some back of the envelope or handy post-it note.
Are those your post-it notes or mine?
Yours.
Oh.
But I'm also taking notes on what we mentioned so that we can
that's a good idea. So you
mention
can write the notes.
Yeah. So that we're not just going, what did we mention? What did we talk about, huh? Yeah. Which typically is what happens. But it looks like I just have to take about 18 stitches off of the front and the back in order to hit each.
Okay.
So I'll do some further math and
you've got such a lovely swatch. You can definitely tell what your gauge is going to be, and you can do it that way.
Yeah, and the row gauge is half of what it or twice as big as what it should be. Yeah, which is the other problem. So I might do less repeats of the color work. I might switch my colors earlier. Yeah. And I might convert
Well, that's why you have to be thinking about, you just keep trying it on.
Yeah.
To make sure that you're getting the length you want where you want it.
Exactly.
That's what happens when you've got a different yarn and different needles. You're definitely working with different yarn than what was in the pattern.
Yeah.
So now you're going to have to do that kind of change. And we're knitters. We can do that.
Yeah, I don't mind the math. It's just something I have to keep in mind.
That's the difference between, in our sewing, if you just say, well, I'm just going to make the pattern. You cut out the pattern and then you're shocked that it doesn't fit. Those patterns are generalized things. I'm talking about knitting and sewing. Those are generalized things, and you know your own body. Yeah. Once you do a gauge swatch, you can certainly make the changes so it's going to fit you. Yeah. Then the question is, do you like it once it's done? I mean, I should not sew dresses that are actually straight dresses. I definitely need some kind of indent that comes in a little bit at the waist and then flares out. What they call fit and flare is my style.
And I can do boxy sweaters as long as the largest dimension is fitted at my bust. As long as we go from bust down.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not if it's oversized at the bust, it generally just looks like a bag on me.
Right. And so that's important to know.
And we learned that with the epaulette sweater.
Yes.
Because we both were a bit concerned about the boxiness of that one.
Yes.
And then it turned out great, and it's still one of my favorite sweaters to wear.
So, again, but that I think is also because you're so short between here and your waist. Yeah. And then it goes right to your hips, so then it makes a whole pattern there, or a whole silhouette. That's the word I'm looking for. So that may actually work out for you, whereas I'm longer in between. Yeah. And it ends up looking like I'm wearing somebody else's clothing. So I generally have to have waist shaping, but I could put in waist shaping. I can put in waist shaping in anywhere. As we've said, there's no knitting police. Yeah. And if you make a mistake, well, that's a design, that's a change in the design
feature.
That's right. Absolutely. So with that, any other words of wisdom, my dear?
No. Okay. I think that's about it.
Well, thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate reading it from everybody and talking to people at the various yarn events that we go to. So please, if you see us, stop by, say hi. Love to talk to you. I mean, we all love knitting, so it's a great community to belong to. And that's about it. So I think we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.